All right, here we are with my good friend Gary Stevens here at Seal Pup Auto. Gary, say hi.
How's it going?
Gary, can you tell us your story? How did you get into being an auto mechanic?
So where I got my start was I actually bought my first vehicle when I was 15, so a year before I could get my license. I bought an '85 S10 Blazer for $200, and this would have been in 2004.
Yeah.
And $200, I was working at Subway, and so $200 was like my whole paycheck. And I bought it a year before I could drive, and I had some problems obviously because it was $200. So my dad actually the first job I ever did was replacing rear wheel cylinders and drum brake shoes on an old style vehicle. And I started just tinkering on my car and getting it ready for when I got my license. And I started like putting in spark plugs and fixing up my brakes, and fixing up suspension, and of course in high school installed stereo and subs, was like step one.
Number one.
And I started tinkering around, and my dad even told me, he's like, man, you should think about doing this career. I was like, no, I kind of like just like working on cars for fun. I feel like I'd get sick of it. And anyway, when I graduated high school, I ended up getting a summer job at the Ford dealer washing cars. And it went from washing cars to the lube tech position opened up there. And I was like, well, I kind of like cars, changing oil's cool. And started changing oil cars, and then I worked there for like a year, and then my boss offered to sponsor me through a Ford automotive program, and I went and got an associate's degree in automotive.
Where'd you go for this program?
I went to Renton Tech in Renton, Washington.
Okay.
So about 15 minutes away from the SeaTac airport.
Cool. How long was your program?
2 years. It was a 2-year associate's degree.
So were you down there full time for 2 years?
No, I was not. My program was really unique. It was 2 months on, 2 months off. So I'd learn a unit like electrical systems, and then I'd come back to work, and they would try to put me on every job that involved electrical systems while I was fresh in my head, get to learn it. The next unit we go, and it was like transmissions, and then down to 2 months, come back for 2 months, and then I'd work on any training job came in the shop. Worked out really well because when you're young like that, I'd go down to Seattle for 2 months, blow all my money, and I'd come back to work for 2 months, save it all up again, go down for 2 months, blow all. It was, I loved it.
That's awesome. I like that. Okay, so you did this program, you worked, and then when you were finished with the program, what did you do?
When I finished the program, I ended up getting a full-time job at my Ford dealer, and then eventually my automotive career blossomed from then. I used to have a mentor, and then I became just like a normal full-fledged tech, and then I got good enough, got an experience where I actually started mentoring guys, and they were underneath me. And then it hit a point where me and my business partner Aaron, I started my own automotive shop.
Sweet.
And here I am now at Seal Pup Auto. I absolutely love what I do. There's days that obviously I get cranky where sometimes working on cars can suck. It just, bolt breaks and your whole plan goes wrong, but it's still, I still have fun coming to work. Sunday rolls around, I get excited to come back in Monday. So
that's awesome.
I know I'm in the right place.
Yes, you are. Let's see. What kinds of skills, if you're talking to a freshman in high school, what kinds of skills would you recommend learning, or what kinds of things do you recommend doing if you were interested in getting into the auto mechanic world?
Skills? Well, obviously auto shop is like key. Like having basic knowledge.
You can take that class with me, auto shop.
I will tell you right now from experience, like basic knowledge of cars, like before you get in the career, like learning how to I know it sounds kind of lame, like just unbolt a tire and put it on, or like being able to get under a vehicle and tell the difference between like an air filter and an oil filter. I want to say half the kids I went to auto school with on their first day never knew anything about cars. Like that was like first time they ever been in a shop, and I want to say every single one of those kids ended up dropping out at some point. So having basic knowledge, patience is huge with cars. And you've seen, especially here in Alaska, corrosion, rust, it's never going to want to go your way most of the time. I'm sure some of you have seen sometimes even taking off a tire can be a challenge here.
Yes.
Patience is like the big thing for me.
Oh yeah, very important. Patience.
Positive attitude. If you have positive attitude, you can never have a bad day, ever. Hands down.
And this is Gary's one of the most positive people I've ever met, so I agree with that. That's really important. I like doing the little selfie here. Gary, let's see. Can you tell us? Oh gosh, you've been answering so many questions so quickly. Okay, one kids always like to hear, what kind of money does a mechanic make? So to work us through, when you first started out, what could you make?
So when I first started out, and minimum wage has changed so much now. When I first started out at the dealer, I was getting $10 an hour to change oil. I thought that was awesome. And I don't want to hear kids like I can't like live on my own. I had my own apartment and paid for insurance and cable and my electric bill off $10 an hour. I had like $100 a month extra to pay. So anyway, I got raised $12 an hour when I accepted to go to auto school. I thought I was absolutely on top of the world at $12 an hour. At the end of my mentorship, so at the beginning of auto school, I was making $14 an hour. At the end of it, I was given a raise to $25 an hour. So I looked at it every day, 8-hour day, I'm making $200 in my pocket, which is great. I want to say high-level techs here in the Juneau area make probably $80,000 a year. I want to say the average is probably about $45,000 to $50,000. So, I mean, it's not dentist cash, but it's. I mean, I love my career. I've saved a ton of money. Like I've never had an automotive bill in my life. Like water pump goes out of my truck. I don't have 2 weeks downtime where it's sitting in the shop. I just bring it in. I do it myself. I don't even think much of it. I never stress auto repairs.
That is a good benefit most people don't think about.
It relates a lot here with boats as well too. Automotive engines and the principles are used a lot in marine, which living here in Alaska, especially southeast, is super fun. If you don't own a boat here, I don't know what you're doing. So.
That's good advice. Get a boat. Okay, let's see. So we covered money, covered the schooling. What kinds of tools do you use here? I know there's a million tools, but give us some. Actually, maybe can we take a look at your fancy?
So
tell us about this.
Right now
this thing's pretty cool.
I didn't even realize I was getting interviewed until today. So I will say this right now. So right now you see the big, beautiful. You see the shiny Snap-on box, right? It's
yes. Very
top
nice.
of the line stuff. It really is. I will say that having the toolbox does not make the technician. Some of the best techs I've ever worked with have a Craftsman Sears toolbox like this. You know, just because this thing looks nice, it doesn't make me any faster. And as you can see, if you come through, I may have a Snap-on box.
Yeah, let's check out what you got going here.
I got Snap-on ratchets and Matco. I got Snap-on sockets. I got all this stuff, but you can
it's pretty organized, Gary. I'm pretty impressed.
That's key, dude. I can't stand working with when the job's not going right and you don't know where your tools are and they're just all just sitting in here in the drawer. They just is. It makes the job even that much slower. When you gotta, you're fumbling around the shop for 30 minutes trying to remember where your screwdriver is. It's just but as you can see, I still have, I got my Craftsman sockets. Like, this always drove the Snap-on guy insane. Like, I don't own one Snap-on wrench. All Craftsman. Like, they do the same thing.
Keep it organized. If you're in my class and I see tools laying around, you're in trouble.
Don't be stealing something from the JHS Auto Shop.
It's very nice. Okay.
We got a fire drawer.
Oh man, very organized.
That's the electrical drawer is the unorganized one.
Electrical's always unorganized.
A lot of my tools are out right now, so you can see them all. This is like my power tool drawer, but you want to know this thing costs, this setup right here with the hutch and the side cabinets and the toolbox sells about $10,000. Okay, this is a status thing. For the first 12 years of my career, I had this black Craftsman toolbox over here. It cost me $500 at Sears, and I did just as much work out of that thing as I do in this thing. This is just a status. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It's like owning a hot rod. Right? It's like it's showing up to the movies in a cool looking car. Everyone wants to be you. Everyone wants it. That's how it is. My business partner Aaron has the top of the line Epic Snap-on.
Oh yeah, let's say hi to Aaron. Aaron, say hi.
How's it going?
Aaron's working on a job over here.
Snap-on equipment.
We got the torch out, we've been cutting, we've been hammering.
Heck yeah.
Some days that's how it goes.
Yeah, what kind of, can you tell us what kind of, what are your most common jobs you do?
For us, we specialize in Fords and Volkswagens. I will say Aaron does a lot. Volkswagens don't break too much, though. They're definitely a lot more more maintenance of the Fords. Like, Fords have catastrophic failures. Like, guys come in all the time. Like, my engine's got a rod knock. Like, we end up putting a long block in it. Volkswagens, for the most part, are Aaron's doing a lot of timing belts, tune-ups, preventative maintenance. That's the repairs you want to see in automotive. I know people say replacing an engine sounds cool. It's they're definitely the tougher jobs. They're not the funnest thing to do in the world. Over here right now,
let's check it out.
I'm actually doing head gaskets on a
no way.
On a 6-liter diesel engine.
Gosh, this looks like a pretty nice new truck to be doing head gaskets.
This is a 2006, so I don't got the heads off yet, but you can see when you get all the spaghetti out of the engine compartment there, it actually looks just like a normal gas V8 engine. I see most people open the hood on a diesel truck and they're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Got the turbo down here. And
Oh, yeah.
I know you kids think that's fun. It's got to have a turbo, right?
Gotta have a turbo.
But yeah, like I said, for the most part, we just do routine maintenance is like our biggest thing. You do the routine maintenance, and then bad stuff like this does not happen.
Nice. What do you think the most challenging part of your job is?
Well, owning a shop is definitely the customer service, and I will say, anyone, even if you don't own a shop, just being a tech, you will have customer services. There are times you have to deal with customers. You get these odd intermittent issues where like somebody's like, I have this squeak at 45 miles an hour when I make right-hand turns only, and it only happens like once a week. And you have to be able to communicate with the customer, keep your cool. Some customers can be kind of odd about describing things. A lot of times I have to go on a road test with the customer, and as a tech, when I didn't own my own shop, I'd have to do the same thing. So people skills are huge. A good, like, positive attitude, good personality gets you a long way in this industry.
Very good advice. Gary's got those skills, that's for sure. Okay, last thought, Gary. Why don't you, if you could give one piece of advice to a freshman kid at JDHS that's considering going into the mechanics world, looking at that trade, what would you tell him?
I would tell them to look at, so if you were actually looking at getting in that trade, you got to get the associate's degree. You got to go to auto school. A lot of guys, I know they think they can just take JDHS Auto Shop, which is great. It's gonna get your foot in the door, but it's definitely, you're gonna need to get the associate's degree. And I would look at, and people probably hate me saying this, UTI, those big companies, they charge you 60 grand a semester. I paid $22,000 with my housing at Renton Tech. I got the same exact degree, same certification for a 2-year degree. Aaron, my business partner with the University of Arizona Automotive, same thing, like $15,000. You know, UTI, you go do a 2 or 3 year program at UTI, you're gonna be spending almost 200 grand, and to get the same thing. And my teacher, we had like 10 kids in the class, super hands-on experience. Really enjoyed it. So I would not look at going to one of those big the commercials. I mean, they look cool and all, but I think you're going to be wasting your money, and you're going to get a way better experience at like a smaller tech school.
Awesome. Great advice, Gary. Thank you. Any last words of wisdom for him?
Just you know, drive it like you stole it. It'll keep your throttle bodies clean, and yeah. Just if you're gonna get in trouble now, get in trouble when you're young. Don't do it when you're 18.
All right, we better cut Gary off before he gets us in too much trouble. Thanks, Gary.